how to deal with a vendor's exclusion. When a member has an exclusion in their business that they don't offer at 100%, you can negotiate with that person, with that member, in any way that is amenable to them. Again, business as usual. If you were going to a mechanic and you were going to provide the part and just pay them for the labor, the same thing can hold true. Let's say if a mechanic has got a part that he's not going to cover in cash, you don't have to buy the part from that mechanic. You can provide the part, assuming that they're willing to take on the liability, and every business is a little bit different. They're not going to necessarily, not every business wants to use any vendor that you pick, and something you order online from China may not be what they want from their guy who's a professional and an expert in their field. But when dealing with exclusions, you can certainly negotiate how and when and where that takes place, or in what the details are. Of course we recommend that one of the things we try and do, and this could be a solution for what the question was. The example was a dentist. A dentist has lab costs. If you're familiar with how dentistry works, some things are taken care of just in-house. They've got their drills, they've got their fillings, they've got their amalgam and white fillings and things like that in their office. And those are things that typically are low overhead and they cover in their 100%. But it's something they have to outsource and send to a lab, whether it's an inlay or a crown, an implant, or some sort of extra item. One thing we try and do is create a vertical integration scenario where we can actually go to the source. We can go to that vendor of the dentist, and we can speak to them to find out if they're willing to do their lab work on trade. Because if they're willing to do their lab work on trade, now we create a scenario where the lab technician is being paid on trade, the dentist gets paid on trade, and so the member can actually do a service at 100% that was otherwise an exclusion. Now that requires a little bit of ingenuity, requires a little bit of creativity, and oftentimes it requires involving your broker or the sales team with TradeSource. But that's definitely something that can be done. Ultimately, our aim is to be able to provide anything and everything on trade without exception. And when the network reaches a large enough capacity, that'll totally be possible.